sends his verse, gotta hear that loud. I rush to the T when my paper's down, yeah.
They wanna fly this straight, gotta tell them this line is more than tilted. Brother K on the wish list, Rumpelstiltskin. He did drop his soul when he signed out, now the young boys got willed it. Walk that road and cross that street, them boys wanna take that pilgrim. Condo Quago, tell her it's spacious. DM my sliding hard is tenacious. Free too old, go buy a new upgrade. Some say
Hey, welcome back. It's been a while since I did not post on YouTube. I think it's been around a month or so. I know there was a festive season and New Year's, but anyways, it's been some time. I mean, first of all, Happy New Year's. I hope you're starting strong. And I wanted to explain the main purpose for this video. So I wanted to discuss the changes that are going to happen in this channel, and I'm going to explain why are there going to be changes. If you don't know who I am, my name is Frank, and over the past 2-3 years, I ventured deep into the AI and software space and also automation space, which is what most people know me for. So I started with my YouTube channel. I started doing content on Make and on 8N, right? Most people know me because of that. And also teach a couple of things on the side, right? Just general AI topics. Basically anything that I learned in the AI space, I just shared it. And this is one of the things I'm most proud of. The second thing was my software startup. That was an AI agent for data analysis. It went really well, but I decided it was not for me. Yeah, decided to pivot and decided to focus on my YouTube channel and my AI agency. I went for that for a while, well, for pretty much all of the channel so far. And I feel like I outgrown this phase in my life, okay? This part of my life. And that's what I wanted to discuss. So to put it in context, last year around March, April, something personal happened in my life, which made me think, okay, well, I don't want to live in this place anymore, right? In the place that I was living in and working in. And I said, screw it, let's go on a trip around Asia. So the last 6 months I spent traveling around Asia, obviously working on my laptop. That's why I was able to post YouTube videos, but you probably realized there's been a lot of changes in the background, right? I was in different locations and all that, and that's because I was traveling. And during these last 6 months, I learned so much. I met such amazing people as well, which changed the way I thought about things in a positive way. And this is one thing I want to tell you is that if you have the chance to travel and work, okay, whilst traveling, like 100% take that chance. It's going to change your life, the way you see things, okay? Please take it. Take the opportunity. You're not going to regret it, okay? There's always a time to make money. There's always a time to grind, okay? But if you haven't done that yet, you haven't gone through this exploratory phase, you should do it whilst traveling. It's probably the best thing you could do. Maybe take a month, maybe take 2 months off if you haven't yet, if you've been grinding for the last many years, okay? Sometimes it's good to take a break and see where you're going towards. Yeah, I think these last 6 months were a big exploratory phase for me, right? Trying new things out, testing where I really wanted to go. Because the reality is that if you are alone on a boat and you're just rowing and rowing and rowing and rowing, you need to sometimes understand where you're steering towards, okay? In order to do that, you need to stop rowing. You need to go to where the steer is, right? So you can't do, it's really hard to do both at the same time, right? It's good to focus on one thing at a time. So this is what the exploratory phase was for me these last 6 months. It allowed me to explore new things, new ventures, and made me understand where I want to steer toward next, okay? So I want you to learn this, okay? Embrace the exploratory phase. Don't keep working for 10 years, 15 years without stopping in between and understanding where you're going towards. So yeah, a few things that I realized, and some of these are lessons regarding the to Asia that I've done. The first thing was that I've outgrown automation, okay? So automation, AI automation was, it's been pretty much the main topic for this channel. I did add a little bits and bobs regarding software, but yeah, this is the main thing that I'm going to focus on now is software. Okay, building software and building my next thing. So I already mentioned in my free Skool community what this startup is going to be about. So if you want to know more about it, I'll leave a link to the description so that you can see what that's about. But yeah, regarding the agency, I've just been working on it. I've been getting odd random projects every now and then. over this past 6 months and even more. And I've realized, well, I'm not really optimizing for one core problem or one core solution. I did end up spotting a few places where I could narrow down to. That's why I'm starting this new software product, okay, that I mentioned before. So yeah, I saw an opportunity to pivot onto software, and that's what I did. And I've been wanting to do this for a long time, ever since I built my previous software startup. But obviously I needed a problem to focus on. And that's why I started the agency. And yeah, found this narrow problem, and now I'm switching onto software. And so this is a lesson that I wanted to tell you guys about as well, is about this whole AI automation agency thing. Okay, I don't think you should build an AI agency and just target plumbers or whatever. Okay, I don't think this is the right approach. This is the approach that people now on YouTube want to sell you, because they have some course on how to make your first dollars by building an AI agency, and then they're going to teach you about sales, about tools, AI, and all these little things. But that's not the way you should think about this. The way you should think about it is solve a problem, figure out a system for it, and then see how to automate parts of it with AI in that order. Okay, first of all, do it manually, then add ChatGPT or whatever onto it, then see what parts need automation. Automate those. You can use N8N, whatever you want, that's fine, that's part of the process. But the first part has to be you really understanding every single part of the process, and that in most cases is going to mean to do it manually in some way or the other. Okay, so I would like to rephrase this, not an AI agency, but an AI powered agency. Okay, you start as an agency, you offer a core service, core solution, you don't mention AI, you just mention the outcome, and then you start replacing it with AI in the background, right? So that's how I see this working properly. Okay, so I've done that already, and now I'm pivoting onto software. And yeah, I've been making N8N videos, really focusing on AI automation and all that stuff, and new N8N updates, and new this and new that. But honestly, I just got tired of it. It's not me anymore. And congratulations to those that are doing N8N still, and they're doing all of this, but it's not what I really want to focus on. I really want to focus on building my next big thing. Okay, and this is starting with this software tool that I mentioned before. And so that's what the pivot is going to be about with this channel. It's going to push more building public videos. So you're going to see me building in public, building this thing live by making videos. I'll be making updates. I'll be telling you what is working, what is not working. And this is going to show more of the real me. And I think YouTube is a great channel for this. The main purpose of YouTube is to connect with people, right? And if all you're doing is just making news videos and all that, and just in a very robotic manner, you're just spitting out information, you don't get to connect with the author of the channel. You can anyway. If you're a creative channel or whatever, it's different. But you're just splurging information. I don't think you get to know the person really well, and I want to change that. Okay, the main purpose of social media in general is just to connect with the person more. And I'm not saying just make content like this all the time, right? I'm not going to do that, because I see the value of also posting news content. So it's going to be a little split out. So it's going to be building public videos. I'm going to do the occasional what's going on in the AI space type of thing, reviewing a tool that I'm personally using or that I'm personally interested in. Any topics that I'm interested in, I'm also going to talk about it. But it's not only going to be that. It's also going to be building public videos to just share more of my personal journey. Okay? So hopefully that is clear. But anyways, this is probably getting a bit boring because you see my face all the time. So let's switch things a bit, since I know we all have some sort of ADHD from watching so much short form content. So for lesson 1, this mainly applies for most of you that are watching out there. Don't start an AI agency, okay? Don't go with this mentality. It's a mentality thing. What you're gonna do is start an agency, normal agency, okay? Solve a typical problem that you know, and this is very important, okay? Just gonna write this on top. Don't go for plumbers. Don't necessarily go for plumbers. What you need to do first is understand what are you a specialist in? I know that many of you have a job or are learning something, or in university. You know something that I don't, okay? You have some sort of specialized knowledge. So use your unfair cards. Okay, everybody has unfair cards, and part of it is in the form of knowledge. So you know something that I don't, you know some people that I don't, okay, you know businesses that I don't, okay? So look into that niche, look into problems for that, right? Try to solve problems for the network that you currently have, knowledge that you currently have, okay? This is the best place to start. So I'm just gonna specialized knowledge. Start here, specialized knowledge, your network, and this is gonna give insight into a better outcome. This is how most people get started and get successful. They know something that I don't or we don't, okay? So that's how I would start an agency. Solve a specific problem. I mean, you can start solving broad problems for a narrow niche, right? So you can start here, like that. So solve a broad problem for a narrow niche, and then you can, once you see there's demand for a specific problem, then you can go ahead, specific problem for a narrow niche. Okay, so I think I also talked about this in depth in other videos. And once you solve a specific problem from an niche, then you are going to, build this, map the process for it. Okay, delegate as much as you can. Well, I mean, first do this, delegate as much as you can to other people. Maybe you have a co-founder that could help you out. Then automate, whether you want to do it with just automation tools and or AI. Once you have kind of this going on, then you can offer this as a, even at this point, productized service, because you're solving one problem for one specific niche. Okay, that's a productized service, right? You don't need to figure out, if you're just solving many problems, you don't have to figure out, okay, what is this problem that this person wants to solve? You know the problem, you know the outcome that this problem solves, you know the outcome for this problem. All you're gonna do is find the people that have the same problem and just take them through the same well-oiled machine. Okay, you don't have to think outside of the box. Your process are laid out already, you know how this works, that's it. That's what a productized service is. So over time, you're gonna be able to automate it, and then at some point, you can turn it into software. And the software thing is, well, where I'm at right now. So yeah, that's the first lesson. The second lesson, and these two are more of a mentality kind of thing, and these are core lessons that I learned during this trip, okay? The second lesson is systems and people beat hustle. You can work really hard, you can work 12, 10-hour days, okay? But you don't have systems in place and people to help you out, you're not gonna go really far, okay? So I suggest you go through this and develop systems as quick as you can in order to avoid burnout, okay? So make sure to do that. The lesson 3, okay, very important, because I feel like most people that come to me, a lot of people in my network, a lot of my friends, they have this problem, and it's really hard to not have it. And it's to committing, okay? Commit to one thing, okay? At least make it your main thing. You can have one thing on the side. I don't recommend it for many of you, but if you have to choose one thing, okay, make sure to stick with it. I know all of you guys, even in the exploratory phase, you're checking things out, you're trying things out. Don't do this. Don't do, okay, let me spend 30% of my time in this. Let me spend 5% of my time in this. Let me spend 15% of my time in this, and so on and so on and so on. No, this should not do that. If you want to explore avenues and ventures, there's a better way to do it. Because if you do this, then for most of them, you're not going to be able to dig enough to get any output out of it, any revenue or any potential outcome out of it. So you need to think about these things in the following way. What you should do is to focus on one thing 100% for around 2-3 months. You're not going to see any output, any reward if you work on something for 2 weeks and then you quit. This is what most people do, unfortunately, right? They try a little thing for 2 weeks and they're like, well. And if you're actually doing it this way, it's going to take you, instead of 2-3 months for each little thing, this might take you a year. This might take you a year. This might take you a year, because you're splitting your focus. So what I recommend is, if you're doing this, commit to one thing for 2-3 months. Okay. If this doesn't work, make sure to measure some KPIs, right? See what's working, see what's not, see what are you aiming for. And if in 2-3 months, set a deadline. If it's not working, if it's not reaching the KPIs that you want, then you quit. At least you know that you tried this fully, and then move on to the next thing. 2-3 months, same thing, commit 100% to it. okay? Until you find that one thing that matches your passions, matches, your performance, okay? And then you see a real return out of it. So this is something important that I learned these past 6 months. Commit to one thing long enough to see results. And if it doesn't work out after a long enough time, then okay, then you can go ahead and pivot. But not at 2 weeks, not at 1 month. So commit to something right now. If you haven't committed to anything, if you're trying 5 different things, okay, choose one thing. It doesn't matter. Just choose one thing, the thing that you're more excited about, that you have more knowledge in. Stick to that thing for 3 months. You will thank me later. But yeah, I didn't want to make the video too long. Hopefully you learned something out of it. And these might seem like very trivial lessons, but these have helped me massively, okay? And I hope what I discussed in this video helps you. So yes, so content, I'm just gonna be very clear. So build in public, stuff like Daniel Dallin, for example. I don't know if you've seen it. Stuff with a big POV in the background, those kind of videos. I'll see how I do them, but that's what I want to pursue so that you get to see a little bit on the sidelines, more on the personal side of me. I'm still going to do the AI news, right? Try new tools, right? Try new tools, frameworks, okay? It's probably going to be related to coding and software, okay, and startups. And yeah, I will be discussing AI automation perhaps at some point as well, because I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you what N8N is. N8N is helpful, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you. N8N is helpful, but it serves a purpose, okay? You can't build software with it. It's not made for that. N8N is made for internal operations, okay? So if you're trying to build software with it, you're gonna encounter a lot of problems, and you probably have. There's other stuff in software that you have to consider, which is permissions. Can't type with this. And go ahead and research this, and go ahead and ask ChatGPT why N8N is not good to build software, right? Maybe you never thought about it, and that's because you watch all these YouTube videos, how to build software with Claude Code and N8N. It doesn't work, okay? I'll explain you why briefly. So there's things called permissions. There's things called reactive UI states, or just UI states, okay? N8N doesn't have a notion of that. And if you try to build to accommodate for these things called UI states with software and N8N, it's not gonna work, okay? Permissions, UI states, okay? And so on and so on. Just go to ChatGPT and list a couple reasons to why this wouldn't work and learn about them, okay? Doesn't work. N8N is for internal operations, automating internal processes, okay? Within your company, within your business. And that's what I'm using it for, right? So I have an Airtable board, and I have an Airtable dashboard. I don't think I can show it to you now, but I have it connected to some APIs. I'm scraping data from Instagram, right, to stay updated with the latest news, for example. Little things like this, okay? Once you want to start to build software, the game is different, okay? You're gonna learn different concepts. You're gonna learn APIs, databases in a different way that you were used to with N8N, okay? So that's what I'm saying. I might be talking about AI automations, N8N, in a different way now. So how I'm using it personally in my own business, but I'm not gonna sell it as an agency service and as an agency product. I really don't think it works. Okay, it doesn't work well. So yeah, well, you can build N8N and an Airtable dashboards and then sell that. I think that will work pretty well, but N8N workflows by itself. Yeah, okay, I think we're past that. Okay, there was a hype phase, and I did it. I sold automations and all that, but I feel like I was able to do that because I was in the middle of the hype phase for all the automation stuff. But now that's fading away. Everybody's doing AI automation, and people are realizing that in order to take these things to production, it's actually really hard, and that's why moving to software was the best thing for me, given what I'm able to do already. Right, I already had a software startup, and yeah, I mean, it's getting so much easier now to build software with AI. At least your version 1s are your prototype. Right now you can get an idea and put it into a version 1. And that's one final thing that I want to mention. I am going to open a private Skool community so you can follow my process in depth. I'm going to be documenting every single step in that private community when it comes to building this new startup that I'm venturing into. So if you want to be a part of it, I'm only going to limit it to around 50 people. I'm sure 50 people. We're going to make it a closed thing for now. And I will be building alongside you. And I have also a colleague of mine. He's going to help me, and we're going to help you get to that solid version 1, right? Build a version 1 of your software product from scratch. We have developed a process that will help you to do this in a pretty solid way. So yeah, if you want to know more about that, I'll leave a link to my free Skool community where I'll be posting updates, and yeah, a little wait list for you to sign up. And yeah, I know many of you guys have goals set up for 2026, and if building your next big software startup or software product is within those goals, then I really recommend you do this alongside me in the private community, okay? So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description somewhere. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm done with the AI agency stuff. I delegated it to other agencies. So if you have been a client of my AI agency, then, thank you for supporting me this far. And yeah, now you're in safe hands, okay? And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week, and let's get started with 2026, okay? There's a large roadmap. There's a lot of dreams that need to be built this year, so let's get back to work. All right, I'm rooting for you all. I'll see you soon. Bye.